My name is Greene. I use she and her pronouns. I am a Mosaic artist, also a survivor of sexual assault. And I started Mosaic on a Stick as a place to heal. But the actual building of the mosaic took me about, I think, a year and a half or so, maybe a year. It's confusing because it happened during the pandemic. Yeah, we started the first panel in December of 2019, yeah, which are really about being alone. And the third panel, The Helpers, I was about halfway through that when my staff came back, so it was really fit really well. Yeah, I think it was helpful in terms of like all the sorrow and pain that we all felt during the pandemic, or many of us did anyways. That helped to put that into the piece, which is a lot of what the piece is about. Yeah, certainly everything was part of it. So they all started out as paintings first, and initially we had charrettes, which means you meet with the architects and all the people involved in the designing and show your ideas. And then people give input, what's working, what's not working. On the first two panels, there are little glimmers of hope in the fact that it's nature that they're surrounded in, and beauty. I did a lot of this. Probably was easier because I was alone. Was kind of a meditative prayer that I said every morning before I began, and I burned sage and had some candles and things that I wouldn't necessarily do if I was working with my staff, because that would be too personal. And I think that would really helped me. I also didn't work as many long hours as I normally do. It was like when it was time to quit, it was time to quit. It's like some days I would only get a very small amount done. The background in the second piece is a lot of concentric circles and tile, which is very laborious, but also meditative, and so that helped. But I think that it hasn't gotten as much attention as it would have. Also being in a pandemic, I think it took away from maybe not the impact, but the amount of people that we were hoping to reach when we had because we couldn't do a live event, because we were still in a pandemic, so it was all filmed, and had a really different impact that way. I mean, I know people are constantly discovering it, and that's wonderful too. I've been there a few times when people have just randomly come across it, and it's very typically been very emotional, but in a positive, healing way. I remember seeing this woman stumbling on it, and she had very recently been raped. And she told me her whole story, which, is a lot. And she found it very helpful. And that's what that's what I'm hoping, is that it can be a place that feels hopeful, that people can find themselves somewhere in the pieces and a way out.
That's beautiful.
A way towards recovering. Yeah. It's not a linear process, of course. Trauma never is. We're constantly circling it. But my hope is that it does give some sense of solace and hope. And I've it was traumatizing, more traumatizing than I thought it would be. First hearing about it and then going to see it and having to repair it. It was very emotional. I also felt like it was a racist act as well. The first time that there was a young black man in a hoodie in the 5th panel, and he had been hit numerous times in the chest. It almost looked like bullet holes. I mean, it definitely wasn't, but that was the feeling I had. And the second time, a black woman's face was completely destroyed. I'm fearful that it is very much the reaction of where we are right now as a society, that our culture is not where I hoped it was, and that we have an enormous amount of hatred towards women, towards people of color. So I'm working on a show right now. I planned the show more than a year ago, year and a half ago, but right now I'm really trying to embrace joy and beauty and have fun. And it's hard, really hard right at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm doing.